Hi, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on the time, the country that you are in. A very warm welcome to the Ask Me Anything session at TLRNOW. I'm your host, Nalin Chandna. I am the CEO with National Gas Company of Oman. I'm also a director with TLRNOW for the Middle East region. TLRNOW is a niche consulting and training organization, and I'm very happy to announce that today we are having the 25th session, the Silver Jubilee session, and I'm glad that I'm hosting it. TLR now has been providing these consulting sessions for the last 3 months now, but they have been active for all these years. They have been doing customized programs for corporates, for individuals, for educational institutions, and for not-for-profits. I'm glad to be associated with them. And today, as I said, is a special session, and we've got a very special guest, a dear friend of mine, Dr. Viresh Chopra, who is a faculty member of endodontology. I hope I pronounced it correctly, Viresh. Faculty of endodontology at Oman Dental College in Muscat. He's practicing in Muscat. He's an author. He's a speaker. And he is currently also pursuing his doctorate from the Queen's Mary University, London. A very warm welcome, Dr. Viresh. And I would just request you to give a small introduction in your own words, please.
Thank you so much, Nalin, for such a nice brief introduction of mine. And as you have correctly said, I am Viresh, right? And I'm faculty of endodontology, and I'm happy that you pronounce it really nicely, better than me, actually, right? So I am a faculty of endodontology in Oman Dental College. And in simple words, if I say endodontology, I am basically a dentist who does root canal treatments. And why I'm saying root canal treatment is because it's a normal man's term, and probably 90% of the people must have heard this term somewhere, that in dental there is something called as root canal. So I am a root canal specialist, and for the good for me, for the opposite gender, I am also a cosmetic dentist. So anytime you guys need to improve your smiles, I am there always for you.
Wonderful, Viresh. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much.
So, Viresh, I just wanted to trigger this conversation. You have been a dentist, and you have been a successful dentist so far. So, I mean, was dentistry your first choice, or you wanted to do something else? Was there any parental pressure to go into this line? Tell us something more about that.
Okay. Before just starting with this, like you asked that whether dentistry was my first choice or no, I would just like to tell a little about my background, right? I belong to a family of doctors. My both parents, my brother, my sister, all are doctors, and I am the youngest one in my family. And the age gap between me and my eldest brother and sister is 11 years and 7 years respectively. So it's a big age gap, right? So it's that big an age gap in those times that many of the people didn't even know that I exist, right? So for them, my father only had two siblings, two children, my elder brother and a sister, right? So I had never existed also. So when I was born, I was thrown into a test. Test was that since my brother was 11 years elder and he was a topper, my sister 7 years elder, again a topper. Now the third one is there, he should be a topper, right? That were the expectations of my parents, but probably they realized that they are wasting time while putting me in studying, and I am not able to cope up with those my brother and sisters. And I was always, obviously, in every family we compare, right? And I was always compared. So what happened was, dentistry was not my first choice. Medical was not at all my first choice. But as always, it happens in Indian side. I am not saying about the Western culture, but obviously in Indian culture, a doctor's son, 99% is has to become a doctor. Lawyer's son has to become a lawyer. And I was in a family where it was a factory which produces doctors. So how can I be saved? Right. So when I reached my 10th standard, automatically I chose medical profession because I was told, no, doctor, your father's dream is you become a cardio surgeon. I said, okay. But by the end of 10th, they realized that for him, uh, the clearing medical exam is a little this thing. He might not be that lucky as my siblings. So they put me in sports, because in those times a pre-medical entrance test had sports quota in it. So if you are good in
Right.
sports, you need to deserve a particular amount of marks. So since they put me in sports, I started playing sports, and so this means somewhere while studying, I was a bit of failure. Okay, so what is the topic of today's this thing? So I went in sports. I started playing sports, and in the very sixth month or seventh month of my tournament, we had a competition, and I won silver medal in that. Where I got interested in sports, because you if you get success in the a small little success in your own words, you
Sure.
get it in
Sure.
the first go. You get inclined towards it. So I
That's
went into sports, and I excelled in sports, and ultimately I became a international sportsman, and I represented India in Asian fencing championships, right? And so dentistry and medical was totally out of question, because I was dedicating my time to sports. So here again, I would take you to the tagline that since I failed in my studies, as per we can call it as opportunity to get into sports started, and since I became an international sportsman, that supported my opportunity to sit for a medical exam, and I cleared my medical exam.
wonderful.
But
Wonderful.
then I wanted to become a sportsman. I told my father that I want to become a sportsman, but as obviously academicians family, how can they see somebody not reading books? And they are right, maybe they are right. So they said, nothing doing, you have to go. So my first choice was being a sportsman. Second choice was being a medical professional. And when I cleared my medical exam, but I could not, continue medical for more than 10 months. So because of some reason, which I might discuss as we go on in this discussion, because of some reason, that admissions of those years was quashed, and then I
Okay.
was taken into dentistry. So dentistry just happened to me.
Okay. Okay. And I'm
Yeah,
sure whatever happened, you're very happy with that.
I am happy with it. Yes, of course.
Wonderful.
That
Great.
this actually this thing made me realize that whatever God does, He does for good. This thing made me realize that.
That's true. We only realize in hindsight that whatever happened at that time, we feel that probably this is the worst thing that has happened to us. But
Very
when you
true.
in hindsight, I think things turn out well, and whatever happens actually happens for good. So very
Yes.
right. Very,
So the day I still remember I was going to the medical college, and the day the seats of those batch sports people were quashed. My father called me in the morning, and they said that don't go to the college, your admissions have been cancelled, right?
hmm.
And it was like somebody has drawn a black curtain in front of me.
Right.
You know,
Right. Right.
imagine, just be with me that you are going in the medical profession, excited, all excited that now my life is set, I'll become a doctor, and you attend 10 months of your medical profession, and then suddenly somebody tells you your that whatever dreams your father or your parents saw or you saw, they are shattered. You cannot continue medical profession, and it's in the mid year, that it's not in July, June, where other exams are happening now, right?
Mm,
So it's
mm.
in right in the mid year. So he called me and he said that do not go to the college. I said, what happened? The admissions have been quashed, right? So you are out of medical college. He told
Right.
me we'll
Right.
come to pick you up, and it was total blackout for me. And I just said, I don't know why I said that, but I told him over the phone that don't come. I will come on my own. Don't worry about me. I will come. And believe me, Nalin, I had a good farewell from my friends in that college. I picked up my luggage bag. I took a bus. I was in Faridkot, and Indians might be knowing that what is Faridkot in Punjab. So I took a bus. I traveled for 4 hours, reached my home, just thinking those 4 hours were the toughest 4 hours of my life till now. That what now? What though I was a little young to realize all this, that what is the importance of this, and I was also cribbing at that time. that why God did this. I did everything right. I played, I represented India, I worked hard here and there. Then I worked in to pass my pre-medical entrance exam also. So where I went wrong. But sometimes you do not have an answers to your why. So don't waste
Correct.
time on that. Right. So
Correct.
the only time I cried was when I saw my father crying. That is when tears rolled my eyes, and that is when I cried. And then my father just kept a hand on my shoulder and hugged me, and he said, "Don't worry, we'll do something." That's it. So then from medical, I was brought into dentistry next year, next academic year. I was put into dentistry. And this is how, and I entered dentistry. So you can imagine, if you are with me, you can actually imagine how, with what frame of mind I entered dentistry, right? And
Right.
in dentistry, as every youngster will go to a college, I had all the plans after a few months of dentistry that I will enjoy life and this and all that. I don't know what that happened other than studying, because at that age, studying is probably, the back of the mind, right? So
Sure.
I
Sure.
wanted just to enjoy life, and that is how dentistry happened to me.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Awesome. So we have people joining us. So very warm welcome. And if there are any questions, please just type in the comment box so I can take it up with Viresh. Abhay, welcome. Looking forward to great learning experience. Ankur, good evening, Viresh. Looking forward. Vikas, hi. How are you doing? Okay, so Viresh, so you are a faculty member. You're also a speaker. You've been doing programs across the world. You've been to various countries, speaking especially on the dental profession. You have been practicing as a dentist here. You've been seeing patients, and then you are doing your doctorate as well from Queen's Mary. So, how do you balance life? And I'm sure there's a lot of stress that comes up. So, how do you manage that stress?
See, it's something worth actually discussing. Not only my views, it's actually worth having a discussion on it. As I said, that I am from a background of doctors, so I have always seen my father sitting with patients and giving them time. So I always knew that if you have to do patients, you need to listen to them, and you need to respect their problems, right? And then give your treatment or whatever is the best. One thing. Second, as an academician or an invited speaker, what I do is I basically try to bring their physical presence in collaboration with their mental mind and make things so simple that they are able to understand, and at the same time they get interested in my subject. My motive is, when I'm a speaker or when I'm a teacher for the students, or even when I'm doing patients, my motive is not to just speak or just to finish my patient. My motive is to speak and make them interested in what I'm talking, or give them whatever I have, right? So that is what I try to do. And secondly is, when I'm doing my patients, I don't do it just to do a patient. I do it for my own betterment, that what I can learn from this patient, what I can learn from this treatment, how I can upgrade myself, right? Balancing part, definitely, as in human life, we have a professional life, we have a personal life. Right. Personal life is a bigger umbrella under which all your relations come, and I believe all parents, brothers, sisters, wife, and in-laws, and all those come in personal life. Professional life is something where definitely your degrees, your colleagues, your college environment, or even for your, like, your office environment, employees and team comes into the picture. In between these, there is something called as me life. We should not forget it, right? There is something called as me life, that what am I? Okay, I have a family, I have a wife, I have two beautiful children, but there is, where am I should not get lost here. So this me time is very important, because it is very important to work hard in life. It is very important to work hard. Okay, you work from 8 to 8, I respect that, but give yourself time to recover, recharge yourself. And that is what happens when we have. Yes, yes. So you should have a body recharge. And it is very important to have a mental clarity. Now, what happens is everybody undergoes a professional stress. Even I go every day. I am going on some or the other professional stress. But you
Absolutely.
need to have that mental clarity that you do not mix your professional problems with your personal life. You can mix your personal problem, you can mix your professional life with a little bit of me time, because in that me time you will be basically solving your professional problems, right? And some part of that me time has to also go to the personal life.
Yeah.
That if you have a fight with your wife, or your daughter doesn't listen to you, or some problem is happening in the family, how do you find a solution? Or do you really need to find a solution? Or do you really need to get into those problems,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So, and there is something called as your me time. It that me time can be having a coffee in alone in a room, or in a coffee shop, and just sitting listening to music, and maybe you and having some thought process going on. So having a mental clarity, not to mix your professional life with your personal life, is actually very important.
Very true.
And we
Very
need to have two different windows for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Viresh, we have got a question from Ankur. He says, Dr. Viresh, at times our professional low point can become a stepping stone for further success. How to come out of these stressful situations and give your cent percent when going through lows?
It's a very nice question, and I'll tell you, I would definitely support answer this question with an example. One example I've already given, that when I was thrown out of my medical school, not thrown out, my admissions got quashed in a medical school. Then probably I was so stressful. I, I that incident made me learn that how important is it to spend time with yourself, to sit alone and think. I
Correct.
At that point of time, you have to be clear that you will not get answers to all the whys in your life. You know, why it happened to me, where I went wrong. You will not get this answer. The only answer that you should try to fight in your mind is that what next? That how do I move forward from here? That is
Absolutely.
the only answer you need to get involved in. Don't get involved in. God will not come down and give you an answer why it happened with you and why not with the other. Nobody will give you an answer,
Yeah.
right? So you have to be in control. That is why I said that generally 90% of the times what happens is the body is controlled by the mind, right? And I always say that it's good that your mind controls the body, but it is also necessary that you control your mind also. It's not always true that mind is always right. You always have a clash between mind and heart. Fine. So you also need to understand that where you need to give time to yourself. Things have gone wrong, very right. And I'll tell you, I'll give you an example here. I was playing national games, and I was in my 11th standard, and I was India number one at that time, right? So I was playing my national games, and suddenly there was a hue and cry in that national game scenario that some theft has happened. Okay, somebody has stolen some equipment from the store. So I was just walking down from the arena with my kit bag on my shoulder. Just imagine that I am just coming, and I recently came from representing India in Asian Games from Jakarta. So I had a big bag. Fine. I'm just walking down. Suddenly, one big hand comes on my shoulder and says, "Sit in the car." And I see like this, and that guy is a policeman. He thought that since I have the biggest bag, kit bag, sports bag, so definitely I would be stealing. So he just picked me up and took me to the police station. Now, who will answer this? That why it happened to me? Nobody can answer that. Now that concentration you should not put into why it happened to me. You should put into that how to get out of this and how to move away
Absolutely.
from the
Absolutely.
negativity, from the negative thing that is happening to me.
Correct. Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And one more thing I would like to say here is, people say, oh, I have a bad luck, in my profession this happened. I just want to ask one thing. You have been given life by God, or who people who don't believe in God, okay, some supernatural power or somebody. By science, you are born. You have come into this world. You are both, you are totally fine, right? You are doing, you can walk straight, you can think straight, your mental abilities. Do you really want to be lucky more? What more luck you want in life?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
probably you should, and under the points of stress, I have been really blessed, Miss Nalin, that I have been surrounded by people who have been very sorted out in life. And it started from my parents, my father, my mother, and my elder brother. My father, I would tell you that if you remember, that new car had come, Lancer, Mitsubishi Lancer, it was launched, and I was in 11th or 12th standard. And as a young boy, I was very much driven into cars. And I told my dad, I want a Lancer, I want a bigger car. Why don't we have a bigger car? When this story went for 2 3 days, he called me the fourth day. He said, "Come here, sit." I said, "Yes." He said, "Why you want a bigger car?" I said, "Because my friend has it, our neighbors have bought it. We don't have a bigger car. I want a bigger car." He told me one thing, which I now realize is so right. He told me, "I can get you a big car, but son, understand, my priority is not getting you cars or materialistic things. My priority is to get you properly educated." And that makes sense. So I learned from, I did not learn at that point of time. I got angry, right? But now if I see it, and a few years back, if I realize that, it actually makes sense. You should have your priorities clear, that what is the bigger goal you want to achieve.
Absolutely. I think the biggest investment you can make is in yourself, in developing yourself, in
Very
educating.
true.
Absolutely.
Very true.
Absolutely.
So
So,
I hope I'm able to answer this question
yeah, I think
to.
Ankur has got his answer. So, Viresh, I mean, you are a successful personality today. So, if I may ask you, what does success mean to you?
I was also about to, when you told in my introduction very nicely that Viresh is a successful dentist, I was about to tell you that success is, I don't know successful or not, but success is a very relative. You might find definitions in Google, but it's a very relative. For me, success is, I'll tell you, and I again learned it from my parents. Uh, when I went into masters, I had three females. I was the only guy in my masters. What more stress you want in life? Okay, handling my three beautiful female colleagues. Okay, and then my mother only told me one thing, that just, it is your master's degree. Keep walking straight like a horse. Do what just do what your guide says, but while moving forward, do not harm anybody. You know I'll tell you the relevance of this, that why I'm saying this. So this is, I learned from there. Now for me, success is, if I can spend the full day, come back home, think in my mind, I know that I have not done anything intentionally wrong. I am saying intentionally wrong. This means that I don't mean to say that nothing will go wrong. Sometimes I might also do something wrong. But intentionally, I am not doing wrong. Intentionally, I have not hurt anybody, right? My conscience is clear. I can justify something to myself and have a sound sleep, and sleep while breathing nicely. That is a success. So I will be a success every day. And it's not always that suddenly you will become successful. Small tidbits of success every day in the right direction will eventually might make you successful.
Correct, correct. I think just to add on to that, Viresh, because in the world that we live in, People would think successful people as, let's say, Bill Gates is successful, or Mark Zuckerberg is successful, or for that matter, Michael Jordan is successful, or Ratan Tata is successful, or Mother Teresa is successful. I think the benchmark of success is different for everybody. And success is a journey and not a destination. So, I mean, if you're
Very
running
right.
after something, then it will never come to you. But if you're just doing your right things, consistently moving towards your goals, moving towards achieving your potential, success will definitely come to you. So that's I
Very right.
think.
As as you very rightly said, Nalan, that success is a journey, right? And journey cannot be done by very long jumps, which is out of your, not even your stride. It can be only done by small, small,
Small
small
daily
steps. That is how
improvements.
you do the journey. You can't
Absolutely.
just drive a car and jump 1 kilometer. You can't. Small, 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 100 meters you will drive on, that will eventually make into 4 kilometers. So that is
Absolutely.
how you have a successful journey.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So the topic today that we have on failure. So we already talked about one of your failure regarding your college, but how do you perceive failure, and have you ever failed subsequently in your career, or there were instances? I would not really call it, because see, we say they are failures, but we learn so much from them that we shouldn't call them failures. They're learning experiences. But
Right.
are there any other experience that you would want to relate, and for the benefit of our audience today?
See, when you have asked, have I failed? I would tell you that I fail every day, in one thing or the other. And nobody's better than nobody's better than my wife to tell you this, that how much I fail. I hope she's not listening this conversation, right?
We'll pass on the
So,
recording to.
so I fail every day. And if somebody says on this planet that he has never failed, then I would probably go back and think that probably this person is not enough self aware, that he is not aware of himself, that what he has done and what he's doing. And I would, the successful examples that you have quoted, right? Mark Zuckerberg, Ratan Tata, and they are very good examples to lead your life on, right? Or to achieve success. But half of the people, not half, 99% of the people see them from that status where they are right now. They have not seen their journey. I am sure. When you see a tree, when you see a very huge tree, you say, wow, what a nice tree it is. But we do not realize that that tree was also kept under the soil, under the darkness, to grow. you know so you cannot reach the sky by lifting your feet from the ground, because there is a danger of falling down always. So keep
Absolutely.
your feet in the ground and then try to reach the sky with small small steps. So definitely, as you said, that success depends upon every individual, that how somebody would like to be very professionally successful. But as I said, success, as we are discussing, that success is a journey. That have targets. Even for example, I have 3 targets in a day to achieve, and I'm able to achieve 3 targets, right? I will feel happy. I'll really feel happy for myself, that wow, I have achieved these 3 targets. Now tomorrow I will see these three, so that day is a success for me. And
Absolutely.
eventually, when we get into a habit of achieving two targets a day, two targets a day, we do not even realize that we are preparing ourselves to achieve 10 targets in a day,
True.
because we will get habitual of achieving targets, and then we will start loving that, because we are getting success every day. Now, earlier, I'll give you an example. Earlier, before starting with my PhD, right? Before starting with my doctorate, I used to have a target of, like every professional, I used to have a target of 10 things, or 11 things to be done, or 12 things to be done. And humanly, it is not possible that you do all 50 things in your list in one day, right? So when I used to do 10 things and those 5 were still remaining out of those 15, my concentration never used to go on those 10 things. I never felt happy. I said, yeah, these 5 things are remaining. Now this I call something as MTS, which is called as missing tile syndrome, right? Now missing tile syndrome says that if you are sleeping on your bed and you see towards your roof, everything is very good in the roof, but only there is one tile missing. So your concentration will always go on that missing tile and you will not appreciate the rest of the roof. And that is what happens in our life also, right? And that is what I used to do when I used to have 15 or 20 targets in a day to achieve, and I was not able to achieve. I was failing every day. Then I joined my PhD, and in my PhD, I attended a workshop, and there that lady made me learn that do not have 15 targets, prioritize, just make your mind work in a way that 3 targets in a day I have to do, prioritize those targets, write only 3 targets and
Correct.
prioritize them, no fourth
Absolutely.
target I'm saying. And when you achieve those 3 targets, every day you will start feeling happy. And that target can, it is not necessary that it has to be a professional target only, it can be a personal target only, that okay, 2 things I have to do for my boss, and the third thing I have to do my for my wife, I have to take her out for a dinner. So don't mix profession and personal life. So targets can be anything. So
Correct.
have those 3 or 4 targets, short targets in your according to your time. Set those targets, and when you will achieve that, you will start feeling happy about yourself every day, even if it is one
Absolutely.
target. And the day you start feeling happy, you will sleep nicely. Your mental attitude will change. You will be filled with positivity, and you will experience that the next day when you wake up, you will wake up with a positive mind and a strive to work.
Correct. Correct.
And that is what happens when you achieve every day 3 3 3 4 4 4, or whatever your time permits, those targets. Suddenly one day you will see yourself achieving 10 targets in a day, and that is actually what is your aim, which you did not subconsciously realize, because you started with 10 targets only, no, in the day when you were failing. So
True.
now in the end you have come to that goal of achieving those 10 targets. So it is
I think,
small
yeah.
small stones that fill the jar.
Absolutely. I think prioritizing is very important. I am actually a big fan of Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. So I think that really helps. So you need to have focus, because as they say that we don't fail because of our efforts. We fail because of the lack of direction, because sometimes our efforts are so spread out and so many things that we really can't focus on the right things. So we have to be focused. We all have got 24 hours in a day. So unless we have direction, unless we have focus, we are not going to achieve our priorities. So wonderfully
Right.
said, Viresh. So we have a comment from Abhay. He liked your answer. He says, "Wonderful. I say the same to my son, although he's small, but I tell him the same about what I am supposed to provide him with." Wonderful, Abhay.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Ankur has got another question. Dr. Viresh, another question: how to support team members to become self-aware in terms of their strengths? How do we mentor them?
Team members, first is do not consider them as team members, consider them as your family, right? They are, you must have heard about work husband and work wife, right? So definitely sometimes what happens is you end up listening more to your professional colleague rather than to your own wife. Okay, so team members are like a family. First is, if you want them to be self-aware, work only those principles on them which you follow yourself. But but with an work with an open mind that those principles can get a rejection from your team members, and you should not get offended by that. Right? We we are humans here. Okay. Now we will definitely discuss this question more. Let me tell you one thing that we all believe in God, ultimate truth, right? But there is a certain strata who doesn't believe in God. It's okay. It's personal choice, right? But I want to emphasize this point here, that when if you believe in God, when God, such a great power, right, who controls the all whole world, he could not make everybody love him or have trust in him, then who are we? We are humans. We do not expect everybody to behave the way you are wanting them to behave. Give them that freedom. I'll quote you an example here. I joined my masters. I had one supervisor. I will take his name here, Dr. Himanshu Sharma, and I am still indebted to him for everything. He was the first guy who came and told me that, Viresh, do your patients with honesty. Do whatever you want to do. Don't worry about your mistakes. Mistakes are bound to happen if you are working. If mistakes happen, this means that you are doing something. That is why mistake happened. And it's okay to do mistakes. Tell your team members that it's perfectly fine to go wrong. It's perfectly fine not to, submit the whole document in a day or be wrong in a document day. Doesn't matter. We all go wrong, right? So he told me that, Dr. Himanshu told me that, do whatever you want to do, but be honest. And if you are able to justify to yourself that you were trying your best but it didn't happen, then I am there for you. Even if something wrong happens to the patient in his teeth, I will take care of it. So he gave me that freedom. And the moment he gave me that freedom, right, freedom expanded, confidence came inside me because the doors of freedom opened, and suddenly I got confidence in myself.
And the
And
performance
I
improved.
and performance improved every day. And I was his student, I was not even his team member. So this principle will really work on, I feel it should really work on team members. Give them the freedom, have that trust on them, and tell them that it's be a friend to them rather than a team leader. Be a friend to them. Tell them that, come back with mistakes, doesn't matter. It's okay to go wrong. You cannot have all 365 days as productive days. It's okay to have a non-productive day also. It's your day.
Yeah. I think open
So
communication is very important with the team.
it's very important, and probably in these times it has become more important because communication lag is one lag which is disturbing the world a lot this time,
True.
at this point of time.
Very
So
true.
this is one way to give your team members that confidence, and they should have that confidence that, oh yeah, I am not saying, I'm not now again, don't take me wrong here. We have to create a balance. Don't give them that much confidence also that they say, okay, we'll do whatever wrong we want to do, he will not say anything. No, so you have to create a balance there.
Yep.
That balance depends upon your profession, depends upon what mental clarity you have, what are the aims you want to achieve by that particular team. So probably give them that sense of confidence that, oh yeah, it's okay if I go a little wrong, I have my boss to correct, and he's a very kind guy. He will take care of me and he will make me understand. The moment this starts happening, you will see that the whole team starts loving their work. As a team leader, it is not important to lead the team. When I started this conversation, I told you this, that when I'm speaking on a platform, my job is not to just speak what I want to speak. My job is to collaborate the physical presence, the physical body sitting there in front of me with their mental capability, and inculcate and bring that interest in them so that they listen and they enjoy what I'm speaking. One is just listening, which I used to do in my college days when my teachers are coming and speaking. As every student, we just used to listen. Nothing used to go here only. These portals of entry, right? So only here. So nothing in my brain. But there were teachers who really inculcated that interest in us, that we made an effort to open the book and read. That, wow, yeah, this looks interesting, he explained really well, let's read it.
Yeah.
So that if you are able to, you generate that interest in your team, you will see that your team will start having that confidence in themselves and on you, and see your performance after 2 3 months, and then you see how your team perform. They will start loving what they do. And this is
Yeah.
a small
Yeah.
chapter of growth also.
Just to add on to that, what Dr. Viresh said, Ankur, Now, if we have to add value to people, we have to genuinely add value to people. Everybody says that I value my people, I value my team, and everybody can say that nothing succeeds without teamwork. I think we have to genuinely believe in them. We have to genuinely demonstrate, because people come to know. If you're just doing it on the surface, then people will come to know. So you have to genuinely believe in your team. You have to genuinely add value to people. And you have to demonstrate the qualities that you expect from your team members.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
very,
So we
very,
have, yeah,
very correctly said here. I would like to add another thing here, that do not, as you rightly said, Nalan, that do not fake it. You know,
yeah,
because I firmly believe when you are doing something honestly and you are really concerned with your team, you will that will come from your heart. Okay,
absolutely.
and it will be like action speaks louder than words. Your words
True.
will have a limited time, they will fade away. But if your actions do not match your words, then probably whatever you are speaking or whatever you are aiming for, it will eventually fade.
Correct, correct, correct.
People will realize it. So probably this what I would like to say is here, that you should give them the confidence, but do not fake your words with
You
the
have to be
real
genuine.
feeling. Yes, you have to be
Ab-
genuine.
Absolutely. Wonderful. So the next question we have from Dipanshi. Viresh Chopra, sir, you have represented the country on international platform as a sportsman, and I believe it's a big feeling. If today you get a chance to go back and make a choice, will you still choose the life you're leading now, or you would have explored the sports journey? Love this question, Viresh.
Really, nice question. And Dipansha, I would like to tell you that I am really blessed that I am living this life and I have no regrets. And I firmly believe that every individual should have the power to shed off whatever negatives has happened in his life and move forward. If you have that power to shed off the negatives or the negative incidents or negative personalities in your life, if you are able to shed off those things, then you will never have any regrets in your life, and you will live the life, you will love the life which you are leading at the present moment. The people who probably do not love their life at this moment, I feel major category would be who have regrets because of certain people or certain incidents they are hanging on to. You have to be positive in life. I am glad that I listened to my father, and he made me leave sports, and I am here. And at this point of time, I would like to tell you that I have never thought, even sometimes my mother has spoken to me about it, that we made you leave this, and probably you would also have been a good sportsman and all this. I said, I don't think about it. Whatever I am good. I'm able to earn food. My hands are working. Mental stability is there. I am okay. What else do I need?
Correct.
So I have no regrets. I thank God for
Yeah.
whatever I have.
I think happiness is a state of mind, because we might say that, oh, I've got a bad mood because of my boss, because of my spouse, because of the traffic on the road. I think it's all inside how we react to things. Whatever happens to us, but whatever happens inside us is what is more important, I believe.
Very true.
Wonderful. So we have, I hope Dipanshi, you got your answer. We've got the next question from Garima. She says, how to handle the situation when negative is surrounded all around and still you need to keep yourself and team motivated. Wonderful. I think it's a very relevant question in the current times.
Yes. Definitely, Garima, as we know that the world is negative this time, and so as the many minds, majority of the minds are also going through this negativity. But somehow you need to remain positive. First is uh, there are different ways to remain positive. One is it's not necessary that everything should go good. Realize that. Okay. Now, if everything doesn't look good, then definitely if you spend me time with yourself and you try to think, and that me time is not 1 hour or 5 minutes, it can be days, it can be 2 days or 3 days. Take a break, take it to chill, take a break. It's good to take breaks. Take a break, introspect yourself, think about that. Okay, everything is going negative. How do I motivate them? If and you can only motivate your team members if you are motivated. You should have that much energy in you, positive energy, that when you walk around and when you talk to your team members, that team members should have showers of that energy. So for that, first you have to be energetic. First you have to stay motivated. And that motivation is not necessary that you will get by only professional success or achieving targets or something. That motivation can be your own ways. Like for example, right now many people are sitting home. If you have the luxury and opportunity of spending time at home and not worry about earning much food like many people have, then probably I would say you are a lucky one. Then I would say that you have time to invest in yourself. And
Absolutely.
the moment you start investing time in yourself, you will see you will become motivated. Take this COVID or Corona time, pandemic time, as a break that God has given you. It's not chosen by you. And I would like to ask here that many a times, how many times a person, or even you, or even me for that matter, when we were working regularly, how many times we have spoken, need a break, we need a break. Now when God has given you such a break, right, which definitely it will end one day, it has to end, right? Whatever it starts, it has to end, right? But when God has given this break to you, why don't you utilize it?
Absolutely.
Even if you try, if even if you say that I will invest time, you will see that after COVID, whenever it happens, you will be 10% better physically, 10% stronger mentally, and 10% stronger spiritually. Even if you are able to achieve this, you are a success, and these things will keep you motivated.
True.
Now I would like to say here that it's been 3 months now, precisely 2.5 months, that even as I'm an academician and a practitioner, I am not practicing. But it's okay. I'm not earning that extra money. I'm not able to earn that extra money. But it's okay. Fine. It's a break that God has given me. It's a stop that God has world, because probably He felt that people are these humans are ready to invade Mars also. So he wanted to stop us somewhere. So it's okay. Take this break, but I am investing time in myself. I am just sitting, introspecting myself, that how can I become better? You don't have to make the world better.
Okay.
World will take care of itself, and you are a part of the world. If you want to see the world changing, first probably change yourself.
Absolutely.
My one of my supervisors used to tell me that, sir, I used to complain a lot that, sir, this supervisor doesn't like me, this supervisor doesn't like me, I don't do things rightly, and I don't like the way I am doing. He told me very clearly that, watch what you are saying. I said, what did I say? I just said he doesn't like me, and I also feel I don't do things rightly. So he said, when you are yourself accepting that you are not able to do things rightly, then how will your supervisor like? The first thumb rule is that if you are able to justify to yourself that you are right, and you are able to love yourself for the right reasons, then expect the world to love you. How
Correct.
can you expect how can you expect something from someone which you cannot do, right? So in this negativity, you have to remain focused, you have to remain positive. Do not get involved. World is negative right now, so it's not necessary to get involved in all types of negative talks that are happening around, negative messages that are coming. Do you know that what will happen? It's a time of uncertainty. Do you really know that really from where pandemic came, it arose? Nobody knows, right? Do we really know how it will happen? We just put our assumptions and spend time. And so And second thing I would, so don't get into unnecessary, negative discussions. Second thing
Yeah.
I would advise here is that do not become judgmental. You know, not the movie. I'm not talking about the movie. I am talking about do not get into a habit of judging people. You know, because this is the biggest waste of time I feel. Reason being, because we are not aware of the situation of that person. We are not aware of the mental strength of that person, why he took any decision, what was the reason behind it. He did something good or something bad, right? Just either appreciate it or just say that I do not know why it did. When I am sitting with my friends, I am telling you clearly, when I am sitting with my friends, if any such discussions are happening, right? I hope my friends are not listening at this point of time, so when such discussions are happening, many a time my mind goes for a shut. It totally I have got into a habit of this. It's not that I do it intentionally. Earlier I used to do it intentionally, but now it happens. If something happens, oh, he did this, oh, they said this has happened, see how people are. How do we know that whether it has happened or not happened? It bad happened, we are very sorry for it. Yes, I am sorry, it should not have happened. Something good happened, wow, yeah, very nice, great, learn from it. So do not overindulge in negativity. The
Absolutely.
try to get into a habit of controlling these things yourself rather than these things controlling you.
Yeah.
you know don't let things control you. You should be able to control your mind enough
Yeah.
not to get into these things.
Correct.
One example I would like to give you here. uh, you all must be experiencing the same, right? Whenever I used to get up in the morning, the first thing was wearing slippers, getting out of bed. The second thing I used to do was see my phone, right? Now definitely when you see your phone, obviously that curiosity inside me, that where is my what WhatsApp messages have come, what is the news today. I never saw a good news in my life till date. It's always been bad, whatever news has come. I stopped watching news. It's okay to be unaware of what is happening around the world. World will tell you. World will tell you. There are people God has sent for this. They will tell you what is happening around the world. You do not have to put your mind and spend time in reading unnecessarily until you feel the need of doing it.
We don't have to
You
know
know,
everything.
we
Absolutely.
don't have to know everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
And sometimes my wife also says this. Oh, you don't know this also. It's okay. I don't know. There is no shame in this. It's fine. I'm quoting my wife too much, I think, right?
Yeah, but Viresh, very valid point that we've only got 24 hours, and especially in tough times like these, 90 to 95% people you'll meet will talk about negative things only. Oh, this has happened. This many people have died. These many infections increased today. All that. So I think it is on us. Again, it boils down to happiness being a state of mind. So it is you who has to choose what you have to take in and what you don't have to take in. So I think negativity in times like these, you have to maintain a state of calm, which is very important. I think you have to be determined to do that. If you want to feel happy, nobody else can spoil your mood. I think it's that.
You know,
So
very, very right, Nalan. There is one rule I follow, and I call it as a GIGO rule. GIGO.
yeah,
Okay. I firmly believe that our body and our mind is a juicer. Juicer. We make juices out of it. Fine. I firmly believe that our mind is a juicer. Now, GIGO rule says that garbage in, garbage out. If you put garbage in that juicer, you cannot
expect
expect a tasty juice out of it. You cannot expect. So block that garbage getting inside your mind once for all. Block that. Nothing will change. I am
true.
telling you, only thing that will change is you. You will become better. You will become better, and you will not even realize when this journey of betterment has started, and actually you are at a mental peace of mind. Already professional life, you have stress, everybody has, even I have, right? professional life we have stress, negativity going around the world, negativity in our professional teams happening. Communication gap is the biggest problem that is happening these days. We are dealing with so much. Do we really need to involve ourselves in this? I don't think so. So choose. The only person who has the right to tell you what to choose and what not to choose is not your parents, it's not your family, it is you. You need to choose that, yes, this I need to know, this I don't need to know. I don't care.
True.
Nobody will take care of you. Nobody will take care of you other than yourself. I'm telling you. It's not. And now I'm not talking from the emotional point of view, but I'm talking about your mental stability point of view.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People will sympathize with you. People will have empathy for you. That's okay. That's okay. That is human nature. But nobody will come really forward and take care of you. So you have to take care of your mental stability. And if you are able to take care of your mental stability, probably you will be able to take care of 10 other people's mental stability. Throw that much energy in yourself that it oozes out to other people.
Wonderful. So, Viresh, we have a comment from Shweta Bhandari. She said she loved your answer about leaving the negative thoughts and moving forward. Thank you, Shweta. And
Thank
I
you,
think we
Shweta.
have time for one last question. Ankur again, he says, one last question, Dr. Viresh. How not to get bothered by fear of failure? I think this is a question from many, many people. And at
Right.
points of time in our lives, everybody has come across this.
Now, Mr. Nalan, you are saying that points, many people have come across this. I would say I come across it every day because every day I fail. How to not get bothered by fear of failure is first to understand that it's okay to fail. You cannot succeed every time. You know, you are not born to make a success story here. You cannot succeed every time here. One, realize that. So it's okay to fail and love your failures. As I said, I'll tell you, I'll give you an example here. As I said, that since I was not a very bright student, I was always compared to my siblings. I was pushed into sports. That failure of mine created an opportunity for me to go into sports, and excel in sports. That success of sports supported me somewhere in my studies. I achieved what I wanted to achieve, that is sports. Okay. I never wanted to achieve, at that point of time, I never wanted to achieve excellence in academics. I achieved in sports, but my parents wanted me to be an academician. So that my excellence supported my parents' dream, and they put this dream together and they put it inside the medical college. Now I entered the medical college. Again, I was thrown out of the medical college. Then again, I experienced a failure. Now, with that failure in mind, I traveled for 5 hours in a bus, striking with that failure. I never got an answer to why. I never got an answer to why, what I did wrong, what happened. So leave that failure behind. The moment you leave that failure behind, that failure doesn't remain a failure, it becomes a teaching lesson for you. It
Yeah.
becomes a wonderful experience for you.
Ankur, I think also to add on to what Viresh said, that all our successes have to go through the failure. If you're not failing enough, you're not growing enough. And if you see, there's so many people who are successful today, whom we consider as overnight successes or successful personalities. I mean, Colonel Sanders of KFC, for example, he started his business at 65. Oprah Winfrey, whom we know as the probably the most famous TV personality today, she was rejected multiple times and was told that she was not fit for television. Yeah. Jack Ma, who wanted to get a job in KFC, simple a job in KFC, and he didn't get a job and he opened Alibaba. So I think people have failed. Not all stories come to light, but each and every one of us fails before we succeed.
Now, here I would like to add another thing. Failures are not only failures which you attempt. Sometimes you are rejected also. Now, I'll
Absolutely.
give you a simple example here. You know, 5, 7 years back, There is now, I am a dentist, you all know, and I do root canals. That also you all know. Now there is in dentistry, if you are with me, just imagine in dentistry there is something called as a microscope through which we see. Now, not many dentists use that. Only few trained people around the world, they are able to use that. So we got a new microscope. Now, when I got a new, I had used it 1 or 2 years back. Just imagine this story happening. Okay. So I had used it 1 or 2 years back. Then we got a break. Then I came here in Oman Dental College and we got a new microscope. Now, since it was a 2 year break, I was a little reluctant to start. So, another colleague of mine, which is who is very good with microscopes, I went up to him and I told him that I want to learn this microscope again. There is no shame in saying that you want to learn. Doesn't matter. You are a lifelong learner. Okay. So I went up to him. He totally, probably he rejected. I would not say even rejected. He kicked me out. He said, you cannot learn it before 9 months or 1 year of training. Now I am already a faculty. I am a specialist. I have already used it. And you are asking me to put another year, which is not possible. I'm already teaching students. So he kicked me that day. Right. And here I would like to tell you, it was that day and it was today. When he kicked me, I came home. I said, "Yeah, why I didn't know the microscope?" I went to him. He kicked me. He's like, I felt bad. But when I sat with my me time, I realized that what is stopping me? He just kicked me. Now, somewhere when he kicked me, it hurt me here. You know, it hurt me here. And then I came out that I have to learn on my own. Nobody will teach me. You won't find many people pulling your hand towards success. Nobody will pull your hand to come up. If one hand is there to pull you up, you are very lucky in this world, because there will be 10,000 hands to holding your legs to come down, to throw you down. Even if you have one hand, you feel yourself very lucky. There are people, 90% of the people do not have that one hand also. They have to just climb with their own arms, resisting the force of people who are pulling them down. So that was one day when he kicked me. When he kicked me, I spent my me time, and then I realized that I have to learn on my own. And that was the day. And after 3 years, today is the day where I'm invited to give trainings on microscope. So I am actually here, I would say, on this platform. I am actually thankful to him for kicking me, because opportunities comes out of frustrations,
Correct.
solutions comes out of frustrations, and rejections and failures. Till the time you are not rejected, your mind will not work. You will be in a rat race, keep doing the same job, working as the way you are. Suddenly one day some kicks you, your brain cells, gray cells start working, that now what I have to do. I need to survive, because world is survival of the fittest, and you need to be fit.
Yep. So I think, Ankur, keep doing what you love, and don't be afraid of. So far as you are putting your 100% effort, more than 100% of your effort, I think there's no need to be afraid of failure. You will fail, definitely. We are not saying that we'll avoid failures. We'll definitely fail, but those are the learning experiences. And I think we'll close down just last line that that's why they say that experience is not a good teacher, but evaluated experiences. Viresh talked about reflection, about me time. So we need to evaluate our experiences. Only then we learn from those failures. So we have to fail forward and not fail backward. Failing forward is like learning from your failures and emerging successful eventually. Thank you so
And
much for
Ankur,
joining today. Yeah.
Ankur, I would just like to say that if you still have a fear of failure and you fail, call me anytime. We will discuss your failure and I'll discuss my failure with you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today for this Silver Jubilee edition of AMA. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Dr. Viresh, for joining.
Thank you so much for having me over. Thank you so much, Nalin and TLRNOW, for having me over on this platform. And it was a real privilege and honor to be here. Thank you,
Thank
guys. Stay positive, stay healthy, and spread positivity. You
Sure,
are
sure.
worth it.
We all are. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye bye.